Hello everyone, this is SpawnPoiint. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll notice that over the last couple of weeks I picked up my new Tesla Model 3, and a few of you have asked if I would cover a video on this as well. And on that first day I did actually capture quite a lot of video, so what you're seeing here is literally the first time that I've opened the car door and sat inside as well. And I'll tell you what, my first impression is I absolutely love it. It's totally different to anything I've ever owned before. The last car that I owned was a BMW 335i, so it was quite quick. So I wanted something that was relatively quick as well. So I've actually gone for the Tesla Model 3 long range, which is the 75 kilowatt battery, 0 to 60 in about 4.4, and a range of around 350 miles roughly. And one of the things I love most about this car is how much you can control from your phone, even down to the basics of locking it and unlocking it. And as for the interior, you'll either love it or hate it. It's very minimalist, so there's practically no buttons at all on the dash or the center console. Everything's controlled via the 15-inch screen in the center. Now the first time I took it out, I realised just how quiet it was on the road, because there's obviously no engine at all, so it's whisper quiet. And once you get up to some speed, obviously you've got a lot of road noise, as you would with every car, your tyres, the wind and so on. The screen, I love it, the navigation is incredible. It's done by Google Maps, so everything is controlled from this center console. Now, as I showed before, you can lock and unlock your car using your phone, either by pressing the button, or you can just walk up to it and it will just unlock as you approach the car. Now, it also comes with two key cards, which you need to rest on the B pillar, and it will lock and unlock the car. So this is ideal if you want to lend your car to somebody else and you don't want to give them access to the phone. So there are 8 cameras around the car. You've got 2 on the indicators, 2 on the B pillars, 1 on the boot just above the number plate, and 3 in the windshield. And they're all used for either autopilot, sentry mode, or your dash cam. And as you may have guessed, there's nothing under the bonnet other than what some may call the frunk. So it's literally just another area to store your luggage, your shopping and so on. It's quite a small area. It's got a first aid kit in there, which contains a high-vis jacket, safety triangle, some other medical supplies including like sterile wipes and bandages and so on. And then moving on to the boot. It's quite a large size boot, to be honest, so I would compare it to something like a 3 Series or an Audi A4. Now, although it may look like it's a hatchback boot, once you've opened it you'll realise it's not. It's like a typical saloon, so the entrance into the boot is quite narrow, but it's still pretty decent. So I mean, you could quite easily fit your family holiday luggage in here with no issue at all. And then something I forgot to show was underneath the floor here, there's another compartment to store your cables. And this car has autopilot, so what that means is the car will essentially drive itself. So you are supposed to keep your hand on the steering wheel at all times, and it will flash up every 15 or 20 seconds if you don't have a hand on the steering wheel. But essentially what it will do is it will follow the speed limit, and it will steer and maneuver the car along the road as it goes. So it is really, really impressive. At the moment, it's not something that I'll probably use, mainly because I actually do enjoy driving the car. So to allow it to drive itself may be a bit novelty at the moment, maybe something I'll use in the future, but right now I have no intention of letting the car drive itself. And one thing I have noticed is people don't hear you. So while driving through the village or through the town, pedestrians just don't hear the car coming at all when you're driving at say 15 or 20 miles an hour. I know in the US they have brought in that new noise emitter on them, but in the UK they don't have this. And the thing I love most about this car, one of the questions I got asked quite a lot were about the wheels. So these are actually called Aero wheels, which essentially are hubcaps. So when you remove the hubcaps, you can see underneath, they're actually quite nice alloys, to be honest. What you can do then is you can buy a kit from Tesla themselves or from eBay and Amazon for a little bit less, and they essentially clip onto the center of the alloy to cover up the hole and to obviously put the logo on there as well. And you get 5 little black bolts just to cover over the nuts as well. I mean, I like this look. What do you think? Actually chose the long range was for the sound system. So the sound system in the long range and the performance is better than you get in the standard range. You get more speakers and you get the subs as well. It doesn't take long getting used to having all of your controls and options on the screen. I mean, it's no different to using an iPad or a MacBook. One of the features I like are the headlights staying on automatically after you've locked the car. My previous cars have had this as well, but usually you'd have to flash the headlights manually before exiting. And here you can add and remove any keys to access the car, including your phone or any key cards that you have. And just like on iOS, you can have the display shown in either dark, light or auto mode. So I have it set to dark mode quite a lot now. I think it's a lot easier on the eyes even during the day. And your driver modes can be changed as well, such as the power output, the steering mode and the regenerative braking, which I absolutely love, which means that you practically don't use your brakes at all now. The Autopilot can be fully customized as well, including how far from the car in front to stay, any collision warnings, things like auto braking as well. Navigation is provided by Google, which so far has never let me down, but you can also send the routes directly from your phone or your Google account straight to the car. And this is where you enable Sentry Mode while you're away from the car, switching the alarm on or off, and Pin to Drive, which Pin to Drive works exactly the same way as it does on your mobile device. So each time you drive the car, you have to enter that pin, which is just another level of security. And in service mode you can service your wipers, which means that the wipers will move halfway up the screen to allow you to change the blades, and you can adjust your headlights and prepare for towing as well. Finally, under this section you can download the latest software updates. You'll get notification on your phone too. Now here I'm on an older version, but that's because at the time of pickup I wasn't on the latest one and I had to wait to get home and connect to my Wi-Fi. And then these little cards on the right show your current and overall efficiency or per trip, your tyre pressures, and then you can navigate to your charge state as well. And as you can see here, I'm at about 60% or 205 miles range, so I'll show you later how I charge. The driver has the window controls on the door, so you can see you've got the rear windows and the front windows, and then the door, as opposed to a handle, is a button that opens. Charging times totally vary depending on your setup, but with the slowest rate of using, say, a 3-pin plug, the same as you'd have on your TV or kettle, it would take me around 16 hours to charge from empty to full, but you'd never have an empty battery anyway, so realistically it would never take you that long. But using the charger that I have on the side of my house will take me about 6.5 hours again from empty to full. So while I sleep, the car is charging, and I mean, it's obviously awesome waking up to a full battery every day. Then there's the Tesla superchargers as well, which are available around the country. They will take you about 45 minutes to charge from 20% to 80%. Cost wise, again, I mean, it depends on what your setup is and who your provider is. Now I pay 12.5p per kilowatt, so for example a full charge of about 300 mile range will cost me around £9.37 or $12. So that about sums up my first week of ownership of my Tesla Model 3. I've already got a few modifications planned for it, as you can see here. I just need to get these sorted over the next couple of days or so. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, you'll be able to see exactly what they are. And as always, any comments, suggestions or questions you've got, make sure you pop them below and I will answer every single one. And if you don't already, make sure you follow me on Instagram. And until next time, thanks for watching.